Okay, hello, beautiful people. It's another wonderful, wonderful afternoon. All right, and here today we're going to be trading the live release of the CPI news. All right, the CPI fundamentals from United States, America. Let me see. Hold on, please. I'm trying to see. I want to be able to see comments and in it. And please do well to share the link. Just if you have a community friends that you pray together with, right? You might want to share this link with them. That's the reason why we're here. Right? We're here to make some. All right, let's see how this goes. Okay, yeah, now I can see. Amari Samuel, thank you so much. You're welcome. So, like I said, please don't hesitate to keep liking just like and share the link so that as many people as possible can also become a part of what we're doing here. Right. Having said that, I also want to say, yesterday on the Telegram group we had a fantastic time, really amazing time for that matter. And what we were doing was the weekly market review session, which is something that we do at the beginning of every new right. Have that session. We talk about the markets. We discuss expectations. We'll talk about the propensities of things that we think might happen during the course of the week. Right, one of which was um, us coming to the realization of why this sale on GU why it happened. Right, we talked about why that sale happened. We also talked about the likelihood of some bullish retracement. All right, before the continuation of the bearish trend. So all of that was done yesterday. EU was also done a very solid drop. That's not why we're here, is it? So today we're here for the non-farm payrolls release. All right, we're here to find trade directions. All right, what are we going to be trading today as a result of the NFP release? And you guys remember that what we use, all right, for trading the news like this, CPI, NFP, and the likes, is we use the straddle trading strategy. All right, we use the straddle technique to come up with, valid expectations, things that that market sticks to do, right, or that market is likely going to do. All right. I'm at maximum volume here. All right. For those of you who are asking for volume, I'm at the maximum here already. So you might want to just boost up your volume a little bit. And all right, yeah, let's see. Probably gonna have to move. Hold on. I know moments like this, the emphasis is usually on commodities like gold. All right, but because we're just starting, I'm gonna just go over the other commodities. All right, so that we can take gold towards a period where almost of let me say virtually everybody is on the call, right? So that I don't have to keep repeating what I've said earlier again and again. Okay. Yeah, Mario, you're welcome. Precious Chibuize, you're welcome. It's good to see you. Luis Kruger, thank you for coming. Good afternoon. Mrs. Haima, you're welcome. You're welcome. Rendra Kehar. So basically, what we do is not to predict the CPI, right? We don't predict the CPI. We react to the market. Okay. If you wanted to do technical analysis, I would say that gold is supposed to get stronger, all right, based on what I've seen on the DXY charts. But that's not good enough, all right, because the market does not owe us play according to our expectations, right? And so the market does not owe us to play according to our simply means that it's up to us position, all right, for whatever the outcome of market's activity, market reaction might be. Alan Jr., you're welcome. Zeph Esion, you're welcome. Yeah, good afternoon, Gulu skateboard community. Eric Bennett, good afternoon. 237, you're welcome. So, like I was saying, all right, the reality of the matter remains the fact that, whenever there's news like this, there's increased volatility. And that's why we look to trade releases like this from the, that's why we look to trade it from the straddle approach. And what exactly is the straddle approach? The straddle approach is simply an approach where we look at what the market is doing, all right, when it's within a consolidation. So when market is within a consolidation, we anticipate that price is going to break out of that consolidation, all right, with some volatility because of the fundamental. So what we do is um, to position buy stop and sell stop on either end of that commodity. All right, we position buy stops and sell stops on either end of the commodity. Um, Fire Lord, you're welcome. Uchechuku, you're welcome. Uh, Miss Makwali, you're welcome. Calvin, yes, sometimes gold does not follow the trend, and that's because gold is not just a currency, it's also a safe haven asset. Right? It's not just a currency, it's also an asset. Sometimes people prefer to keep than to spend it. Right? So you than to trade, rather. So sometimes people prefer to just keep it than to trade it. And when people begin to keep it, all right, the value begins to skyrocket as a result of the scarcity. You get it now? I am guessing, okay, I'm not guessing. Inland Doors, I know that that's Mr. Chris. Good afternoon, sir. It's good to have you. It's good to have you. Nazi City, you're welcome. Keep Career Langat, you're welcome. Yeah, so it's really impressive what you guys what you guys do, turning up every single time we're on a session like this. I appreciate it so much, and I celebrate you guys. Hats off to you guys. All right, you guys are doing an amazing job. Thank you for always showing up. Having said that, let's go right into the chart. First thing we're going to have to do is to locate the area of consolidation. All right, once we're able to find that area of consolidation, it makes it easy for us to be able to position for the breakout of that consolidation. All right, it makes it easy for us to break out of that consolidation. To be honest, I think so. I think there should be some volatility today, but that's based off of what I've seen from what's it called now? From DXY. That's based off what I've seen on DXY. I won't be able to show you guys because the DXY analysis is something that we did on the Telegram group on Monday. All right. But those who were on that Telegram call on Monday would realize that so far DXY has moved over 269 pips. All right. Since that analysis just yesterday. Okay. So these are the things that make us celebrate what we do because, it makes a lot of sense when you have some technical accuracy. All right. Once you're able to nail it regarding technical accuracy, it makes sense, much more when you want to start trading fundamentals. But let me quickly take a look at DXY and see if there is anything DXY is saying to me that might be the beginning of a reversal. Fair value gap filled. Hold on. Checking, following the structure. All right, the DXY is currently at an area of resistance. It's a breaker block. They're gonna drop. I can't say for sure, but I think it might. I think it might. Don't worry, guys. You can't see what I'm doing. You can't see what I'm doing because I'm doing it on a different screen entirely. All right. Yes. So I think, yeah, we might continue to see this buys on GU and EU and gold, right? Because that's my sentiment. The buys. Hyacinth, you're welcome. Eunice Dube, you're welcome. CPI is in 20 minutes. CPI is in 20 minutes. Wanted Bull, you're welcome. Francis, you're welcome. Tandeka, my books, you're welcome. Eswatini, you're all right. Breezy, you're welcome. Good afternoon. Okeke Ozioma, greetings to you too. Snoopy Dave, you're asking for gold. Yes, we'll do that. Sidali Misari, you're welcome. You're asking about gold too. We'll do that. Hussein, um, Sidali, can you please stop spamming the chat, or I'm gonna have to. Yes, I am guessing, or I'm expecting. Um, well, dollar might not exactly be strong because that's from the, how do I put it now? From the daily time frame, price just walked into a breaker block. All right, so that's what I'm seeing. So it could drop. Okay, it could begin to drop. At least make a little bit of a retracement before it keeps going back up. But nonetheless, let's begin to position on 1 hour time frame. Want to look for our area of consolidation, which is interesting because technically speaking, there's this trend line here. There is this. Yeah, there is this. That fair value gap right there. Yeah, there's that fair value gap there. So right now, price is inside of the fair value gap, which is always interesting. But if we look at the 4 hours time frame, you see that price is currently reacting from this area of demand on the 4 hours, which could make a bit of sense. So let's come back to the 1 hour time frame. In this regard, our buy, stop, and take profits have to be quite closer, right? Because from this now, it's looking like there's more chance for price to go bearish, right, than bullish. Okay, that's what it's looking like here. This is the midpoint of the fair value gap. We would have our buy stop, have our sales. All right, yes, just outside the fair value gap. Takes liquidity from here. It's two. All right, so that would be Euro USD. Let's go to the 1 hour time frame. All right, on this chart now we have our area of consolidation. This. All right, so have our buy stop here. right at around the mid at fair value. Have our sell stop here once this low one. In your comments. Jafar Abdullah Rahim, good afternoon. MCC Pork. We will probably do you. Yes, Tali, you're welcome, my friend. Justice Brown, you're welcome. Matthew Olaniyon, you're welcome. Daniel Frempong, you're welcome. Matthew Olaniyon, sorry, unfortunately, this is not that session where people make requests for analysis. All right, requests for analysis are only entertained on Mondays. All right, we have a session on Mondays on the Telegram community where you can literally have a direct one-on-one conversation with me. You unmute your mic, we talk. All right, whatever commodity you want me to take a look at, we do that right there on the call. All right, so unfortunately, we will not be able to do this request that you have, but you can always join us on Mondays on the Telegram group. I would be more than excited to entertain you. All right, that's Euro USD. Let's see gold. Gold is doing something tricky. It just finished filling up this fair value gap. I don't let me say just mitigated that fair value gap. All right. If it just mitigated that fair value gap, you can say that this is a demand zone. Okay, so we want to do this. That will be range. We want to put buy stops above there. TP1, TP2. Sell stops be yeah. You said you just had an SL on USD JPY. Why were you selling? What exactly were you looking for on UK that made you sell? That's the supply zone on the has nothing. Hours time has nothing. Sell should have been from somewhere around here. Because after liquidity has been sold. Yeah, but nonetheless, UJH1 right now, we already have our consolidation region, which sounds like good news. Those of you who traded NFP with me last week, do you guys recall that we actually made some interesting profit, even though price tested us? All right, I believe price tested us quite, quite. Stop. Gerald, not every order block is a tradable order block. You should understand that by now if you're an SMC trader. There are certain criteria that determine whether an order block will hold or not. So the fact that I'm saying an order block does not exactly mean that that other block is a region of entry. Ajiga Samir, I hope you do too. I'm hoping the same for myself as well. Roger Zambeyi, like I said earlier, this is not the session where people get to make requests. All right. This is not that session where people get to make requests. Right. When that time comes, we're going to have that conversation, but this is not it. On Mondays, that's where we have that session, all right? And you can always just join us on Telegram, make your requests, and then we'll work it out, all right? But for me, I personally believe that gold is supposed to fish, right? At least even slightly, right? But my opinion is not as sound as reacting to whatever it is that the price. All right, so we're just going to react to whatever the price does, and that would be it. Okay, so let's have the figures on the screen now as we prepare for the news in 11 minutes. Okay, buy stop is 1.32326. Always remember, if this pending orders get triggered before the news, even if it is 1 minute before the news, close it as soon as you can. All right. It means that you are not riding the volatility from the news, you are riding the manipulation before the news. Okay. Buy stop. Sell stop. Don't forget, guys, your trailing stops are essential. Absolutely important, absolutely critical. All right. So please do not take these positions without applying a trailing stop. That's the only thing that can safeguard you against a whipsaw. All right. Use a trailing stop. Buy stop. Gerald, like I've said many times now, if you want to see me analyze, you can only do that on Mondays. All right. Honestly, I do not do analysis here. What you see me do here is nothing compared to what I would love to do, because what I do here is to just analyze a region of liquidity, all right, and look for the breakout. But on the Monday sessions, I do a classic breakdown and I tell you this is why this is happening and this is what we're expecting would happen after. So if you want to know my sentiment on commodities, this is not the best time because I don't trade market sentiment here. I just react to whatever the news does. All right. I end up not setting position. 148.692. $147.6. All right, so those are the values, those are the figures we work with. What's the best number for pips for trailing stop? I've said it many times. Anything between 20 to 50 points, 20 to 50 points is most advisable. Between 20 to 50. Kenton, thank you so much. Thank you so much. What is GU sell stop? It's already there on the screen. You can just Blink Frames, you're welcome. No, Mrs. Swimer. We don't enter based on the bias. We place buy and sell stops, all right? And then as you're placing the positions, you're also to include a trailing stop, all right? You're to include a trailing stop. That's why you guys see me checking my phone all the time, all right? That's why you see me checking my phone all the time, because as you are trying to trade, I'm also doing the same thing. You get it now? So I'm also doing my best to make money off of these sessions so that it's not going to be just you guys um, testifying about this, right? So that's the basis of what we're trying to do here. Gold. Jonathan Robinson, you said it's your first time here, but you're unable to grab anything. It's kind of foggy. The reason is because for the first time, I would advise, or let me say, I would recommend that you chill. All right, just watch whatever happens today. All right, don't stress it. All right, don't stress it. After the stream, you can then watch the video, watch a couple other videos from NFP, CPI, and the likes, and then it should clarify what we do here. This is gold. Remember, I said that there's a demand zone here. This candle right here has a demand zone in it. This red candle, right? Classic SBR pattern behavior, but who am I to say? We're just waiting to see how the price. Buy stop is a type of pending order. If you don't know what it is, then you're going to have to just hold on. If you don't know what a buy stop is, please don't try to join us. All right. Like I've said a couple of times, um, there are certain things you don't want to mess with, right? When you're trading the news, the number one is to ensure that whatever amount you have in your portfolio right now in your MetaTrader account is an amount that you're willing to risk. Why? Because slippage is real. All right. Number two, slippage is real. Then number three, use trailing stops for entries safety, all right, to safeguard your entries. And that's because of a truth, slippage is real. All right. And I've said it many times, between 20 to 50 points is perfect. All right. 20 points would mean that your trailing stop moves a lot faster. 50 points would mean that your trailing stop moves a bit slower, but it is still 5 pips behind whatever prices do. Right? And I've said it a couple of times, you're not going to be able to set trailing stop on phone. All right. That's why I've recommended many times that if you're going to trade the nails, all right, at least try with a PC. All right, at least try with a PC. And if you cannot get a PC, all right, it means that you're going to have to be very cautious about your risk management, right? And you're going to be having to manually move your stop loss by yourself. So this is GU, 1 minute more. This is EU, this is gold, and this is UJ. Right? So we're just going to do as usual. We're going to tile the charts and just watch the market unfold. All right, we're going to be seeing the news in 1 minute. All right, it's less than a minute. All right, let's see. How is this going to look? All right, that's out. And it's against the dollar. All right, CPI is against the dollar, which means that GU, EU, gold are all buying. All right, they should buy. All right, because this CPI is all red. So remember what I said about gold. There's a demand zone here. You want to trade proper technicals, you can just follow that demand zone or whatever. But trust me, dollar is weak. Exactly. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. Yeah, so I think my vision is all set now. All right, there you go. GU buy stop activated already. We're holding. Euro USD is still within the area of consolidation. Gold is still within the area of consolidation. We're waiting for a momentum that pushes price this way. UJ is supposed to be bearish, but we're holding. We're trying to see how that fares. But so far, GU is the only trade that has been activated. Yes, fire low, 30 pips, 30 points is quite good. The momentum is a bit shallow though, so we're gonna have to wait to see if the market is going to genuinely recover momentum or if this is the best it can do. This momentum is really, really shallow. But like I said, in every way, it's lower than the previous. Right, we're seeing 0 0.1, 0, 0 point, minus 0 0.1, 0. Yep. Let's just see how this unfolds. All right. And then we'll know what next. Happy and you know it, clap your hands. Happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, and you wanna show it. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. Woo! Happy and I know it, clap my hands. Precious Chibweze, the reason why we use trailing stop is so that we don't have to add TP and SL. That's literally why we use a trailing stop. All right, because there's no absolute guarantee that price is going to get to your TP point or your SL is going to hold at the point where you placed it. Why? Because slippage is real. A trader in my country. Everybody knows me well. If you put me up and down, you'll see that it's true. All right, Fire Lord. Since there's no stop loss, what the market uses as your stop loss is your entry price. All right. So once your entry price is activated, all right, and price has gone in profit, price begins to the trailing stop begins to trail your entry every single time price goes the number of points that you indicated in profit. All right, so every time it goes, maybe if you're using 30 points now, every time it goes 3 pips in profit, the stop loss gets moved. Every time it goes another 3 pips, the stop loss gets moved again. All right, so it just trails the current movement once you're in profit. So the minute, if you're using 30 points, for example, the minute your entry goes 3 pips in profit, you get a stop loss. You will definitely get a stop loss. The trailing stop is going to place a stop loss on your behalf. Then from there, we move. Right? We're still waiting for real volume to come in. But I think right now, if we're going to be honest, this doesn't look this doesn't look the best. Right? Is there volatility? Light, but not so much. Right? You can see GU is gradually returning back towards profit. Let me check my DXY. Yes, like I said, DXY is also dropping, but not as hard as it's supposed to drop. All right, and that's because I'm guessing that the big banks and the major investors are avoiding dollar for now. All right, because of the whole trade wars, tariffs, and all of that. It's just beginning to quiet down. So where that's where we are expecting things to settle. If it doesn't go 3 pips in profit, how do you know when to exit? The truth is, if it doesn't go 3 pips in profit, first of all, like I said, whatever amount you have in your MetaTrader account right now should be an amount that you're willing to risk. All right? Should be an amount you're willing to risk, which means that the worst case scenario, this amount is my stop loss. This total amount is my stop loss. That's one. Two, if it doesn't go in profit at all, how do you know when to exit? You know when to exit as soon as probably a buy stop was triggered and then price begins to reverse and it wants to go and activate your sell stop, right? just before activating the sell stop, and literally just exit the buy. But like I said, your risk should not exceed the amount in your account, in your trading portfolio. Right? Your MetaTrader account should only hold an amount you are willing to risk, especially on days like this. Why? Because slippage is real. All right? Slippage is real. It exists, it occurs, and you just have to protect yourself against it. I know some of you see me looking down a couple of times and you're wondering what's going on. I actually have some trades, some kind of trades running. Pending orders that I placed since yesterday. Not yesterday, midnight, especially on gold, just got triggered. And I'm adjusting my SL to ensure that I don't become a victim of slippage. The same thing I'm warning you guys. GU is almost back in profit. Forex copy trading, you said you're confused. Can you just expatiate on that? What aspect is confusing? How goes the traveler? We have a buy stop, sell stop position in place on gold. We're waiting, price has not gotten there yet. All right, GU is back in profit. Yeah, sometimes banks and liquidity providers are skeptical about, what the dollar wants to do or what the commodity wants to do as a result of the news. All right, or sometimes many of them are placing positions, opposing positions. All right, so if one party is saying it's going to buy, another party is saying it's going to sell, then there becomes that becomes a kind of tussle in the market. All right, and oftentimes that tussle will first of all mean that price is going to slow down. All right, price is going to slow down first, and then when one side begins to make corrections or add to their positions, then we get to see movement. G already took you out at break even. How many points was your trailing stop? Finally, the volume is here. Country cousin, you said GU took you out at break even. How many points was your trailing stop, please? I'm interested. I would like to know. Kingsley TV, gold is doing what it can do. It hasn't even broken out of our consolidation region yet. See, it hasn't. Higher the pending order here because of the demand zone and the sweep break retest pattern. But that's it. Nothing more. My position on gold is not based off of the buy stop, sell stop. It's a position I placed since midnight, and I'm just moving my stop loss manually, all right, because I can only do that on phone because my PC is busy right now. All right, country cousin, was it profit or loss? Let me know if because from my end here, price went more than 3 pips in profit. So it should have closed you at probably very minimal loss or very minimal profit. What was impossible, made possible. 15 more minutes. If after this 1 hour candle, we still don't get volume or momentum, you can delete all the pending orders. All right. If by the time this 1 hour candle closes, volume doesn't come in, then it means that market is resisting that movement. Okay, closed at 0.0, so no loss, no profit, which is, to be honest, much better than having a loss on your account. Right? I'm sorry about the fact that you probably feel pain because right now GU is back in profit, but it's better to be safe than sorry. Don't worry about me. Yes, I'm gonna be alright. GU, oh, my life. Oh. All right, GU is approaching TP1 right now. The GU buy is approaching TP1 right now. It's almost there. DXY is already dropping nicely, but I'm watching the DXY chart on this screen, and then I have GU on this screen. I have my YouTube on this screen. So I can keep watch of everything, and then I have my own trade on this screen. Yes, we're almost there. TP1 on GU, we're almost there. If you use the trailing stop on GU, you are definitely out in profit already. If you were reactivated, probably you used 50 points or something. But TP1 is still very, very much in sight. We're approaching it because DXY on this end is still dropping. Still dropping. Let's see how this goes. Remember, I told you, technically speaking, DXY was already at a point of supply, right? Because of the breaker block. Okay. How far is the drop going to occur? I sincerely cannot tell you, but I know that at least 50% of the fair value gap is going to get mitigated. All right, so what I'm watching on this chart right now is to see when price approaches that 50% mark, right? So that I can just notify you, and anybody that still has a trade running can get out of that trade ASAP. For the retracement, I wouldn't say. I wouldn't be sure, so I can't say. I really cannot say. The XY is fighting for its life, but I'm pretty certain that it's. Let's see how this 1 hour candle closes. Like I told you guys, I'm hoping the momentum comes in before the close of this candle, or otherwise we're gonna have to run. Let's see. GU is approaching TP1, and I love that. Like I said, DXY is struggling. Is struggling for a comeback, but I doubt that's gonna happen. All right, GU is almost at TP1. Almost there. Amazing. That's GU at TP1 already. How many points is my trailing stop? Remember, I said I'm trading on phone. This was a trade I took on phone since midnight. All right. It was a pending order that got activated. So all I'm doing is to just manually move my stop loss. Nothing more than that. All right. So now we wait. GU is almost there. Yeah, according to CPI, the dollar is supposed to be weaker according to the fundamental values of figures that were released. It's supposed to be, we're seeing something really crazy right now. You're welcome, Romanesti. Remember, we're watching to see how this 1 hour candle closes. All right. If it doesn't close in a position that gives hope of, what's going to happen, then there's going to be a problem. Well, supposed, because even regardless of whatever the fundamentals values are, all right, there are other things that could determine whether the currency reacts immediately or much later on. All right. So sometimes the news is on point, but the market does not react to that particular release immediately. Right? Sometimes it could take 2 hours, 3 hours before it actually begins to make the reaction that it is supposed to. Right? So that's why I said that we don't predict, we only react. We allow the market give us what it wants to do or show us what it wants to do. All right. And then based on that, we can position ourselves for whatever direction that leads. We have about 7 more minutes before the 1 hour candle closes. Are we there yet? Not yet. So let's see. Let's see. 5 more minutes, I think. About 6 more minutes. And then we'll know the truth. Remember, I said my TP1 is 50% of the fair value gap on GU. Price is almost there. All right. So once that 50% gets mitigated, because of what I'm seeing from this momentum, I will be tempted to just exit and go and rest. Probably just warm up and eat. Let's see. All right, 5 more minutes. And you're gradually beginning to see the momentum come back. We're almost there. We're almost there. Almost, almost, almost. 4 more minutes. And you guys see how the momentum is returning to GU. I think EU is having the same thing. UJ is almost there, but GU majorly. And there we go. GU is RTP1. That's GU RTP1, guys. So, like I said, this validates the fact that the momentum is gradually coming back in, all right, which means that our positions are quite secure, right? Our positions are quite secure. Three more minutes. Three minutes to go. Okay, we're almost there. Two minutes. One more minute, guys. One more minute. And right now, you guys will see that the big question has been answered. The question about momentum returning, all right, it's already been answered. We've seen the momentum come back. And right now, all we have to do is to protect those entries, all right, those entries that you already set as your pending orders. All you have to do now is to put a stop loss, all right, set a stop loss, a comfortable stop loss, a comfortable take profit, and just allow it run, all right, just allow it run. And then we'll see how that turns out by Monday next week. All right, by Monday next week. So see you guys again on the Telegram channel. It's always been a pleasure hosting you guys on this calls or this streams. You guys already know I love you guys to the bone. All right, and you guys make me excited to be a trader. Right. So thank you so much, guys. God bless you. You're fantastic. You're amazing. Love you guys to the bone. Bye bye, and have a fantastic rest of the trading week. God bless you.